It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. It's another week of moving, been just going through the whole process of it. It's been a fucking minute. It feels like it's been longer than it has been, but I think we're getting to the end of the process. It's just, it's slow work, it's kind of like the law, things, they take their time. There's a lot of paperwork and all that bullshit, but I think things will work out the way they're supposed to anyways. But anyways, that's been, kind of the core of everything that's been going on lately is the move. And it hasn't even been that bad. Like I talked about it on the other episode, but like the new normal and then kind of coming into like the new routine. And like, honestly, it's like week by week at this point. I feel like every week there's we're doing something different. Like this past week, we've been fucking going to Denny's and like In and Out. That's been like really the move. I think I might have talked about going to In and Out on the last pod, but like I'll talk about Denny's first. It's like graduation week. What is the end? It's June 1st today, right? So it's been like all the fucking grads have been having their fucking graduation parties, and it's just been a fucking like locally has been madness. Like every fucking restaurant, every fucking place I've been to, and like look, the reason I'm even complaining is like normally I wouldn't give a fuck. I usually cook at home because I cannot cook at home like I was, which I'm starting to kind of not give a fuck about keeping the house as clean as it was from this deep cleaning. I've been going out. So like Stevie and I are like, oh, we're gonna go get Denny's. And like we order ahead and it's still a fucking wait. But like Denny's, like I didn't even know this, but there's like a Denny's in Salinas and it's just fucking wall to wall filled up all the time. Any hour you go at. I'll go in the morning to get eggs, just scrambled eggs. That's it. Could be fucking 3 or 4 eggs scrambled. It's packed. Like just fucking every booth is filled. The area to wait to get in is filled. The line to fucking pay is it's just fucking out of control. I don't even know how they manage it, but there's some kid that works there too. And he's like learned that we order and like, he's cool. He's diligent. He tries to hook it up, but it's just so funny because like he is even self-aware that like you guys ordered to go to make this easy. And it's like, I'm not saying like we're entitled, but like when you order 30 minutes before and you get there and there's still like a wait, I think everyone's thinking it. Even the people paying are thinking it. It's fucking madness, so yeah, we've been fucking hitting Denny's and like I guess I just never noticed, but it's just so fucking out of control busy. And then In and Out in Salinas, like if you go to In and Out in Salinas earlier in the day, I'm talking like before 1 o'clock, won't be too bad. But for whatever reason, like after like people get off work and shit, it's just an endless line of cars. And if you're out there, fucking In and Out people, I see you're building locations in like fucking Texas and like Colorado. Like build fucking more in California, particularly like Monterey County. Like we got 2. Sounds like a lot, maybe 3. No, I think 2. It just ain't enough. Like you got to put more. If the demand's that high, I'm talking like an hour long fucking line of cars. And I'm like, maybe you know this if you're a local. Kern Street in Salinas. It's known for its ladies of the night, unfortunately, and it's been a problem. Even the city's installing lights. I think it's a total fucking waste of money. $600,000 to light up Kern Street to deter prostitution. I don't think it's going to do it. You know what I said to do? 24/7 live cam. So if somebody thinks their fucking spouse or whoever's cheating on them, they can fucking see them down on Kern Street. It'd be like the social embarrassment factor. I'm not trying to shame people. I'm saying you want a real deterrent. No one will go there if they think they're going to have their face fucking plastered up all over a 24-hour live stream. I digress. That street is where In and Out is also on. There's some like hotels and other shit. I think there's a McDonald's right next to fucking In and Out. It's probably the loneliest McDonald's in the world because no one goes there. Like I'll see a few cars, but like really In and Out is just fucking, it's like a money printing machine for whoever's in charge of it. Endless line of cars going inside. It's just fucking like another 30-minute wait just to walk in. And we used to just walk in because we're like a couple years ago it was still busy, but like I think In and Out's just at like the busiest it's ever been. And look, when you're fucking hungry and you're trying to eat like pure protein and eat clean and focus on dieting and health and shit and wellness, and despite what you may think, like In and Out, like they have some very healthy options. And so does Denny's, eggs and fucking protein, like burger patties, it'll work for anyone. But my point more so is that it's just fucking hard to eat super clean and healthy, which we've been being very diligent doing other than a few fucking, we've had Papa Murphy's a few times. It's not even bad. It's just like, we want to stay in shape and stay, physically fit. And I don't want to compromise by doing that. But In and Out is one of those places you can get a legitimately clean meal. And it's almost impossible to get if like at the hours you want to get it between 5 and 8 or like 5 and 10 at night. It's absolutely like, it's just not worth the wait. We'll go there and we're like, fuck it. It's not worth it. We occasionally drive to Monterey, but no, it's just not worth it. The other little thing I had this past week too is fucking when I go I went to Stoney's. It's like the local tap house brewery. And or maybe it's not brewery, but taps, we got a bar. They're fucking ribs. It's insane. You get like a fucking 5 stack. It's a little expensive, but costs as much as Denny's or In and Out. It's good, but even when I went there, it was fucking just so busy. And look, I'm like a order ahead when I get there. Hopefully it's ready. Like it was legit like a 45-minute wait. And it's all good. I just like I don't eat out a lot. So maybe I'm not used to the fucking I don't know. I guess how busy things are. I didn't realize how busy shit was. I think it's busy when I go to the grocery store at 5 o'clock. I'm like, that's the time I'll avoid. And I self checkout. It's not like I'm getting in line and waiting. It's just people when they're in those like long lines or waiting for something that they really want, especially something primal like fucking food. People are just crazy. They act different out in public, especially if you don't know them. Like people don't care as much in public when they're out. I'm trying to think of something to compare to. Like when you go to an amusement park, you're at Disneyland or something, and like people want to like get past you in line, even though you're ahead of them in line. It's like, dude, like who are you fucking kidding? You don't think I have peripheral vision? I'm self-aware enough to know that you want to inch your way ahead. It's usually kids and shit. But like occasionally you get the douchebag who's like, oh, I don't want to wait longer. Maybe one person ahead will help me. It's like it's like that. But when you go out and people are like waiting for food and shit, it's hilarious. I guess I realizing it just going out and actually fucking dining and having to get food to go. Like I said, and it sounds like I sound like I fucking live under a rock. Like, oh, he just doesn't go out. It's not like that. I usually cook at home. I usually don't subject myself to these issues. And I'm noticing it lately. I'm like, God damn, people are people. They're gonna people. And that's what people are doing. They're so peopling. Anyway, I got my notes here. Yeah, this week's been pretty, I wouldn't even call it dry. We actually did a lot this week. So aside from my fucking dining disasters, if you want to call it that, Stevie's been in pretty good health. He's been doing some like physical therapy, seeing these people I think it's restorative or something, doing massage work, and like he's in like the best he's been. There's still like a residual pain or something that he's still trying to get to the bottom of, but like last night he told me he thought it was his trapezius. Like, at this point, like anything's on the table. Like I said, he had that chiropractor who fucked him up, and like that's even under investigation. There's like fucking lot going on. But yeah, generally feeling good. Good enough to go out and film the short, which we released last week, Encounter. And that's what I want to talk about next. Encounter. If you've seen it, great. Thank you. I got a lot of messages on it. I got a lot of people reaching out and saying how much they actually enjoyed this short. What's funny about Encounter is that, I'd written the script and I told Stevie, I was like, hey, like we should go shoot this when you're feeling good, whatever. And then it was like 6 o'clock at night. We didn't even have that much sunlight left. And Stevie's like, you know what? Like, I'm feeling good. Like, let's go now. And I was kind of like, fuck, like, not really prepared. I didn't have any of the props. I didn't have shit like to go. And he's like, fuck it. Like, yeah, I was like, fuck it. If you want to go, let's go. Went out River Road. We filmed it kind of in our old stomping grounds where we grew up. And it probably took like 2 or 3 hours to shoot, maybe 3. Yeah, probably 3 throughout the whole process. And like, here's the deal. When we do work, we get results. We work fast and we're efficient. But, what I wanted to say is before we got out there, I didn't have everything planned out. I had the script. I sent it to Stevie. He said he didn't want to read the script too much before, which wasn't like a bad thing. I get it. Like sometimes you want to have like fresh take interpretation. You don't want to overthink shit. Like overthinking it could be like a productivity killer. You know what I mean? Even for me, like going out there, I grabbed the camera. I'm like, let's just go film it. I didn't overthink it. I knew what I wanted. I had a vision. We, kind of just drove out there. We picked up the truck because it's parked at my parents' house. Drove down River Road, and I'm like, you know what? Like, this is a good road. We drove onto this road. I'm like, yeah, this works. I filmed a lot of the B-roll of him just driving around in the short while we were just cruising. And I'm like, hey, fuck it. There's some scenes where I had to direct him more, but some of it, like, just do you, just drive. And sometimes when I'm filming, I'm very like alternative with my directing. If somebody is just driving the car, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna start filming you. I'm not gonna say anything. Sometimes not saying anything gets you these candid moments where like the actor is just not acting at all. And I think sometimes that is the most compelling and most genuine performance you can get. Before I get any further, by the way, I don't know if you've seen Encounter. I just want to make sure everybody knows the premise. It's basically like an alien sci-fi short film. Stephen Rager, my brother, he plays a character, Carson, who is like a ranch hand driving around doing maintenance, his regular routine. When he has let's call it like an abduction encounter that feels simultaneous, but actually was like 10 minutes of time lost. But it happens while he's driving, almost as if He didn't notice it at all. And then, obviously he assesses it after, pulls over and tries to determine like what just happened. Um, Also, fun fact, I played the guy on the walkie-talkie in the short film, which was cool. I actually got to record it. Here, this room, obviously it's going to look like my podcast studio, but I recorded in this, our former studio. We call it the Red Room. I did all the ADR right here with this microphone. So it's really cool. Like with modern technology, I recorded with this mic into my iPhone and then dubbed it. And it's just so fucking cool. And when we were there, like I did say the lines. I obviously rewrote them in post. I kind of freestyled it. This was a very like freestyle project overall, like how we approached it and actually went about it. And it, in the end, the difference between like maybe scheduling and planning it out a little bit harder and what we got, yeah, I don't think it would have made a tremendous amount of difference. For production, I maybe would have brought a few more lights and stuff, but it doesn't matter. Like ultimately, like the result we got was so close to my vision and what I wanted. It was, you know, it's what what the project needed to be. So that being said, to get back to what I was saying before, I just want to make sure people, if you haven't seen it or caught up to it, you understand what I'm talking about. Encounter short film that we just released. It's on my YouTube channel at Devin Thomas Film. If you want, go sub, check out the video. You can like it too. But really, subscribing and just staying up to date is the best thing for me to like actually have people see what I'm doing. And like the video organically, like I guarantee you this video will get 10,000 views in the next month or two, just because when I put out Sinner, it hit like 8K, and that was in like 3 months. It got taken down for copyright, but like it just happens quickly. Like, especially my short films. The short films always get views. The podcast, it gets like the core audience for sure. It's not as like short film about aliens, much more discoverable. But besides the point, go check out my YouTube channel. I'd appreciate it. And it's also like it's not the only place to view the short film, but if you want to view it in its full 4K fucking pristine quality, that's the spot to go. It's on my Instagram page too, also at Devin Thomas Film. But that video on Instagram actually did really well because we did advertise it as like no AI was used to make this. We did all the effects, like I manually did them with Stevie. Like we pieced the edit. I did a lot of the assembly and like put some of my vision in, but like we combined forces in the end to make it like perfect. But yeah, we advertised it as an AI or a short not shot with AI, which, a lot of the comments were even like, hey, that's rare these days to like just go out and do it old school. And I agree. And honestly, like for how humble this project was, it was probably one of the most satisfying ones I've made. And I think the response is what I liked. Also, it blew up quickly on Instagram. It got around, I think, 5,800 views or something, which, look, I'm not like views. Like I said, it's good to know people are watching. I'm not going to pretend like I don't give a fuck if somebody sees it and the view count's not lower than like, something else. It's nice to have viewership, right? But even with YouTube's always slow. But I guarantee you, I think we're around like 115 views compared to like the 5,800 or whatever on Instagram and Facebook. Once YouTube picks it up and people start looking up short films, it'll start to pop. And that's also the other thing. It's like short films, there's a lot of them out there. And I even talked to Stevie, there was this era of like camera influencers on YouTube where like gearheads were like really like that was popular content. I remember I used to watch so many camera test videos, so many lens test videos, software editing. I mean, I still do watch a lot more software editing, but like lenses and shit, like, dude, I've had every fucking lens I want, with the exception of some that are like prohibitively expensive or rent only. I've had every camera I've wanted. I'm at a point where it's like, I kind of know what I need. And if there's a new wave of cameras, I'm going to stay up to date. I always stay up to date on camera tech. But yeah, I'm at a point where it's like, I really have like not worried about that so much. And like, what I guess to my point is like short films in that category used to be a big thing. Like it'd be like shot on Red Komodo, shot on like Canon C400, Sony FX3, right? I feel like right now people are more into like the idea than like what it was shot on. That was a very like 2020s, late 2010s COVID thing, like gearheads having like their influencer days. And like right now, I think like self-aware wise, I do think like the film influencer thing is like filmmaker influencer thing is happening right now. Cause I've seen other people like not doing the same thing as me, but in the same vein. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I do think I was ahead of the trend on that, like a little bit more forecast on my end or foresight on my end, being like, oh, that's something that's happening. But now I see it a lot in a lot of places. I'm like, okay, so like, I'm glad that I was already making shit before that became a thing. And like, when one arrives or whatever you want to say, you want to be prepared. I think that's like timing wise, I think it's right on time. Besides the point, this short, getting back to what I was saying about it, was made pretty quickly. went out in the field, shot it with Stevie, probably a 3-hour shoot, came home, dumped the footage. I did the assembly almost all that night. No, I did not. I did a lot of the assembly. I think I got all the footage kind of pieced together, but I did not do any tightening. I put that one song in from the beginning, which is a song that Stevie and I had made. Uh, put it in. It's like that country song in the beginning of the film. We use it at the end as well in the outro, but like put it in. I started editing, but for how little time we spent in the field, which is not to say like, look, I don't care if you spend 300 days or 3 hours, like the result is all that matters. You don't need to have the biggest and longest production in history to make the film feel better or special or epic. Like, a lot of great things have been made quickly. A lot of great songs have been written in 15 minutes. A lot of whatever have been done quickly. And production being quick and easy this time was very helpful. We had to do a little bit of stuff, like I said, like some dubbing and stuff in post, but like it all made it so I felt like a real filmmaker making this one. Let me just say that. Like I was pulling out all the tricks, all my editing tricks, all my audio tricks, all of my even like effects and shit that I was doing. I was like, I'm not like I'm gonna manually do this because like I think if I do it this way, like this will get me what I'm looking for visually. And like I don't know, it was just the most fun I've had making a short in a long time and making a film in a long time. Uh it felt good. Also, like, look, I understand like Peninsula Nights, romance movie. Like when I made Peninsula Nights, I was so into drama and low budget drama. And like I still am. I'm not saying I'm not. And I'd still, dude, if I went out and made one today, like I know that genre so well. Call it whatever you want to call it, micro budget, mumblecore, indie romance drama. Like I get it. Like that's something that like and I love those movies. Those are like comfort movies for me. I throw it on, I'm like, oh, it's like a warm blanket. I love those types of films. But I also do love other shit. I've mentioned it here. I love horror. I love thriller. I love science fiction. And I've kind of been saying this on the last few pods for maybe like a month or two, like aliens. Like that's something that's going to be relevant soon. And I've always loved alien lore and culture, but like capping on this at a time that I feel like is a really good time to do it, as well as having a short that like I'm proud of that people liked. It's just like it's like a hat trick, fucking triple whammy. Like I feel like great. I checked all the boxes for myself and for the audience. And it's just good, Stevie liked acting in it. Christine did makeup for it, and she did great fucking makeup. It was incredible what she did for the actual bite or mark. I don't know if it's a bite. Personally, I always looked at more as like some sort of alien mark on his arm. I leave it up to be ambiguous, but her makeup's really good. The short, if we had a little bit more light, I think it would have looked a little bit better in the short in terms of like visibility, but like you can see it. It's like this little triangle on his arm, and like I don't know. I think it left like mystery up to the audience. Like, what is that? Like, obviously, you're insinuating that it's probably something foreign, like, or foreign, not foreign, but like a space invader alien type thing, right? Extraterrestrial. But yeah, it was just fun to make. It's fun to edit. It was fun to put the whole thing together. And like, I don't know, ultimately, one of the most satisfying projects I've done. And it's also good to get back on the saddle. Like, it's been a minute since we filmed something that was like narrative that I could edit and put together and also keep my fucking skills practiced. Like, that's the most important thing is like not losing your, skill set within the program. And I never have, I never will. I just think it's just like I'm used to producing stuff all the time rather than like every now and then. But anyways, Encounter, I think was a big hit for us and for, just like self-satisfaction as much as audience like satisfaction. I think everybody that I've talked to liked it. I even have like, dude, my cousins texting me being like, oh, I loved Encounter. I think also the aesthetic that we chose, like, look, like I'm from fucking Salinas, born at Chomp, Monterey, but dude, I'm a Salinas guy. Like, kind of a Salinas country guy, if you really want to get down to it. I grew up off River Road. Like, my life was that. I drove into town to go to school and get gas and get fucking groceries, trips to Costco. But I'm a country boy down in reality, I grew up with an equestrian quarters in my fucking neighborhood on the drive-in. So being out there like fit really like the persona and who like we identify with, like Stevie and I and like our family probably the most than like even Peninsula Nights. Like, I think when we were making Peninsula Nights, it was like I call it method directing, method acting for Stevie and perhaps Christine as well. We were like living the Carmel lifestyle. I was ingrained in the lives of Carmel people. I was going to the local spots. I felt like I lived in Carmel when I made it. I would drive over there during the day, hang out, go home, grab the gear, go back, fucking eat at the restaurants, drink at the bars. That was my life. and same with the Monterey portions of it. Like, yeah, I was a regular at spots, and I'm not saying that I haven't been back, but it's just it's almost like it's what's cool about filmmaking is I feel like you get to live a lot of lives, like through being a character or even being the director, you get to embody this. How do I call it? Not just the lifestyle, but like, you become like a part of that community. Cause even when you leave, like the movie's done. Like if you watch Peninsula Nights, like Tom and Bella are a part of Carmel, like forever in Monterey. Like they're always gonna be there. And when that movie grows in popularity and cause I always tell Stevie and Christine too, when we go to make another movie, that movie will resurface as something people want to see. People are gonna want to watch it again. They're gonna want to re-experience the film. And or not only re-experience the film, but see where you came from. Because eventually, like, dude, we're gonna keep making movies. Eventually, we're gonna have a movie that I think hits like mass appeal, and people will go back, and that could also bolster like Peninsula Nights' mass appeal. I've also been considering this. Peninsula Nights is on Amazon. It's paywalled, $10. It's not like a crazy ask at all. But I've been thinking lately, I'm like, fuck, like maybe we'll just put it out on YouTube and let it ride. There's a 4K copy that hasn't been available, and I'm thinking about just putting it on public on YouTube and letting people watch it. Because why fucking not? To be quite frank, like at this point, it's just like fuck it. Like let's just put it out and let people see it. Um, I'll mention it later with all those, YouTube filmmakers like Curry Baker and this Kane Parsons guy that have been blowing up. But like I've been saying it for so long, and I've almost like not held myself back, but almost been like, okay, like I think I'm at a point where I'm like, well, YouTube's so powerful. Why don't we just put the movie out and see what happens? And fuck like the VOD sales. If you want to buy it, thank you. I appreciate it. And like I've had a ton of people buy it, and like it's been profitable. That's great. But like money aside, what's my real goal? I think visibility. And I think with YouTube, that will give us the ability to be seen. Um, anyways, to put a cap on all this, uh, the film had the aesthetic of my childhood and just kind of the life I know, the Salinas Valley lifestyle. It hit a lot of the notes that I wanted to hit. Been greatly inspired lately by obviously the classics. I won't even go into names, but obviously Spielberg, he's like an alien guy. Lucas. I also just like, I've been watching a lot of like shit like X Files and like just a lot of alien stuff. I've been really going down the rabbit hole. And that's why I wrote this. And like after having the response, like I've had people even say, like, so what is there a longer version? I really think like after seeing like just like crowd response, like you always chase what people like, but I also am interested in this. And I think what I'm realizing too about the alien idea with Encounter and maybe expanding it into a feature is that there is such a built-in audience for this. I'm not saying Carmel and Monterey and Romance, there's not a built-in audience for that. Of course there is. There's people that want to see something that's not only regional, but like, dude, it's a fucking famous destination. But aliens, so much bigger than just Carmel and Monterey and Romance. It is, and any good movie will have romance, but it's part of like, the social lexicon, like people like aliens and UFOs, like it's worldwide. Everyone loves alien shit. It's funny. I've even had people comment on the fucking YouTube video saying like, is this based on a real encounter or like experience? People just, they're hungry for more. They want to know, they want to believe, they want to see the truth, or what they want to believe is the truth. People want to explore this idea more. And I think that's what was so cool about it. And I think that's what would make a feature version of this really good. I haven't started writing it. I've got a really good outline that I think would play very well. So that's something I'm working on. And I think like, yeah, I told Stevie, I was like, I think before year's end, I could have a feature cranked out of like this, especially if we just go out and shoot it the way we did. Really not overthinking it. I also trust my instincts. I trust my ability to get the shots that need to be got done and like just to tell the story. Because here's the deal. At the end of the day, like, dude, the script, yes, gotta have it. You need to people to know what's going on. We need to know the story. But going out there and filming it, it's like I've really just broken away from the traditional model of like how to film a movie. And like I film alone, really. I'm a solo filmmaker. I know what to do to get the story told efficiently without wearing actors out, without wasting a ton of time and money. Yeah, I think I figured out possibly one of the most effective and efficient ways to make a film, let alone a feature film, for an affordable price. And I don't even want to say cheap. It's not even the right word. None of it's cheap. It always costs you your time, energy, sometimes your peace of mind. The shit can drive you crazy. But I think I figured out a way to make movies in the most efficient way for me. And I'll leave it at that. Encounter, will it have a longer version? There may be a longer version soon. it's been hard to write with the move because I don't feel like I have 100% focus. I've also, like I said, I've been going out to like go get food and shit. Like usually like a regular day of writing, I just like make a pot of coffee, walk, maybe eat something, start writing, more coffee, water, walk. You know, if I feel like the pen's getting a little low on ink, I walk and I come back. I'm like, oh fuck. Like I've said this before, but like when you're rarely like in the groove of writing, you type, type, type. Okay, hold on. I want to keep going, but something gets you away. And then while you're away, you're like, I need to get back. I need to keep writing. Like you just get incentivized to get back to the desk when you're taking walks and taking breaks and like just letting your brain have a minute to just kind of like conceive the next part. And it's fun. It's like you're unraveling a fucking mystery when you write. It's just so fun. You like literally are fucking making, you're crafting the story just through writing. And it's just, you have no set direction. Like sometimes I have outline, sure, but like you stop looking at the outline like 30 pages in. For sure you do, because you're like, well, where is this going? You let the characters drive the story. And then sometimes you question, like, no, what you're doing is wrong. Like, or is that right? And then you kind of go back and forth. You're like, no, like I need to assert control. Because the characters come to life when you're writing it. At least in my mind, I start seeing the movie. You know, it's funny too. I've been doing a lot of storyboarding lately and showing Stevie like, hey, like remember this movie? Like here's a storyboard for it. And he's just like, oh yeah, like even for Encounter, I storyboarded. And he's just like, that's makes so much more sense. Like I guess like I'm not bad at explaining things. I'm not bad at explaining things. I'm good at that. But what I'm saying is I see the script with the storyboards in my mind because I'm fucking the one writing it. Of course I am. And some people will see it and some people might. So I think no one's ever going to see it exactly how you're imagining it. But for me to be able to storyboard it and be like, hey, this is what I imagine, and then be like, oh, that makes sense, has made it so much fucking easier for me to like have my vision conveyed to the talent. It makes them fucking understand it. And they're like, I get what you want. Now I understand. And that communication, that little tool for communication has just opened a lot of doors for me. I feel like it's made it so much easier to get like what I'm going for out before we even step onto the fucking set, which is important because I don't want to have to get there and explain myself to death, you know? Yeah, and not even explain myself to death. I guess just like knowing, look, pre-visualization, preparation, all these things are so important. It's like not reading the script at all before you shoot a movie, and then everybody gets there like, hold on, let's take an hour to read the script. That's gonna cause, a traffic jam. And like you just don't want that. I like things to be very easy to do. Even with the podcast, like I even said it, I think I said it the other day on the last pod, I said it's hard to make these with the move because every single fucking time I do the pod, I have to set everything up. I had to build the camera out. I'm not saying it's like the hardest work in the world, but it's annoying. I used to have it where I just went out there, I sat down, I'm like, all right, let's go. And, with a movie, that's how you'd like it to feel. You want it to feel like you're not having to just like struggle super hard to get it done. You want it to just be easy. You want it to be easy. 1 second. Let me look at my notes here. Not even that I'm not done with this rant, but let's see. Developing the alien feature. Yeah, that's where we're at. We're at that segment right now. I'll just say this. The alien feature would be great. I think it's on time. I also, like myself, have been trying to find alien movies. Stevie and I have like literally been watching like, what is it called? Close Encounters of the Third Kind, amongst others, but that's the one we're in the middle of right now. And it's like, holy fucking shit. Like this was so well made for the time. So well done. And like today, I feel like what are the modern alien films? Like I know there's like Arrival and like District 9, and those aren't even that modern, I don't know. I just feel like there is demand for this type of movie, as is there demand for horror movies, and horror movies are back on top. I mentioned Kane Parsons and Curry Baker, a few minutes ago, but like they're doing exactly what I think I should be doing. Not saying I'm trying to be those guys. I'm just saying like I kind of said it through Unscripted, like YouTube, most powerful streaming platform in the world, horror, the long haul project. I've been saying it since last year. Here's the deal. Obviously, there's some things that got in the way in the past year that prevented me from acting quickly and fast like I'd like to. But I think my conjecture and my finger on the heartbeat of the Hollywood industry machine has been pretty fucking spot on. And I got to just trust myself and capitalize on where I think the direction of this business is heading and also who's going to be up next in this business. And I think I have. I think I'm there. 1 second. Let me get a sip. My God, all this talking, it gets you. Also, I said this room makes me more thirsty. I'm not even fucking kidding. Maybe it's hotter than a garage. It's, the windows are shut. No fucking breeze. I mean, it's not like my garage had a fucking breeze going through it, but like there's, some holes in the walls of a fucking garage, right? At least a little airflow. So anyways, let's just cap that. This past week was great with filmmaking. I've been developing the feature version of the Alien movie, which I do think is really good. And there's still other options on the table. We're going to continue to make short films leading up to the feature. I've been talking with some other local talent as well, some people that have been interested in making films with me, and I've been interested in making films with them. And like, I think that's the other thing, I've talked about this with Unscripted. I really wanted to focus on building community, but like just in general, just working with people and not wasting any more time. Time is the most precious asset. It's time to just go out, make a lot of shit, make a lot of shit with a lot of people. And also, I can't wait to make the next feature because I always say this, but like when you're making a movie, your just network grows. You meet a lot of people, you touch a lot of lives, and like I'm excited for that. Anyways, I did watch some great movies this week. Watched a couple good ones. I think one of the best movies I watched this week may have been maybe Exit 8. It was very interesting. We'll get to it, but I'm sorry, I'm just so thirsty. The first movie I watched this week was the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. It's a fucking mouthful to say it, but it was by Illumination Studio and Nintendo. No director, TBA. Okay, yeah. So on my notes, I fucking did my notes with chat, and I did not fucking put the actual director. It's like 3 or 4 guys. Sorry, to those guys. The actual cast is Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Also, didn't put it here, but Benny Safdie was fucking Bowser Jr. This guy just like, he gets every fucking role that's good, which is crazy. He's not even a bad actor. It's just like, he's this director who, the Safdie brothers, I talked about him before. This guy made Smashing Machine. He's in that show, The Curse. He did Good Time. It's just crazy how like, he's become like a fucking popular actor, whether by just like fucking good management and agents or demand. I mean, he's not bad. It's random. He's in like Happy Gilmore 2 as like the antagonist. He's just booked some of the best roles fucking for no good damn reason, other than I guess like just having success. Not hating. I'm just saying, just random as fuck. I never saw him as like the actor type in comparison to, I just thought he was like this fucking great director. But anyways, the second Super Mario Brothers movie, I thought was good. Okay, look, like the first one, and I'm not going to go too deep into Mario because like these are fucking, animated films. Not to even take a slight at animation, but these ones are obviously more like, they're definitely driven with like kids in mind and shit. Obviously, it's Mario. First one, typical like Joseph Campbell hero's journey. Mario has to answer the call and he kind of refuses. I can't do this. I can't save the kingdom and Luigi and beat Bowser. And he ends up doing it, right? The second one was like, way more of just an action movie. And honestly, maybe for the better. It just felt like the pace was a little faster. It wasn't the first time they were making like a Mario movie in terms of like the animated films. It was really fun. A lot more characters, a lot more Easter eggs, a lot more memes. Not memes, but like, shit that you would, I guess you could call it a meme. Just shit that is just like pop culturally relevant. Not a bad movie at all. I liked it. I don't really have like a lot to say about it. It's on my list, but I really like beautiful fucking visuals, incredibly fun movie. Illumination does really good like shit. I know they do like Minions and stuff. I haven't really seen the Gru and the Minions Despicable Me movies, but I'm familiar with Mario, right? And this one, there was a lot of crowd. I'd say like not even, I guess wish fulfillment, like crowd pleasing, wish fulfillment. One of my favorite characters is a big part of it, Yoshi. I don't remember who played Yoshi, but I think it was Donald Glover, and he was fine. I love Yoshi in the movie, and like honestly, like when we'd play like fucking these Mario games as a kid, I'm like, I want to be Yoshi. I just fucking love that little dinosaur fuck. And yeah, so it was good to see him. It was cool. It was fun. If you're looking for something just to fucking throw on and have a good time, like it's casual. It's not going to be like the most demanding movie. Little similar to the first one in terms of plot, but like you could say that for every fucking Mario game ever made. Like, Save the Princess. It's not, I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised Mario didn't like go Chris Nolan on this bitch and like subvert expectations on what the movie would be about. But if I had to rank it, I'd say like a strong 8 or 9 out of 10, like maybe 10 out of 10 if I watch it again. It's just fun. It's fucking Mario. Anyways, go watch it. It's just a good one. Scream 7. That was another movie I watched this week. Was Scream 7, 2026. Director Kevin Williamson, writer Guy Busick. Kevin Williamson also wrote the script with Guy Busick. Interesting thing about Kevin Williamson is he wrote the first Scream. He also, which maybe he created the entire Ghostface thing, but Christine always mentions that he was like a producer on Vampire Diaries. So like he's extremely ingrained in like the horror supernatural genre himself. Like he's obviously a fucking successful talent in Hollywood. Really like this Scream though, and I think him behind the camera was great. Like if you wanted to make a few, I don't think anyone can complain. The cast, I mean, sure everyone knows, but Nev Campbell is Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox is Gil Weathers. Uh, it was funny in the beginning of the film, they had Jimmy Tatro and Michelle Randolph from Landman. Those they were like the couple in the beginning that gets killed, right? And they're going to like the original Woodsboro Mocker house where the murders took place, right? And the serial killers revealed themselves. In the first one, the Billy Loomis and the Stu Mocker guy. So great intro. My only regret about this movie is I didn't have Jimmy and fucking Michelle throughout the whole movie. Like Jimmy Tatro is such an interesting guy. Steve and I talk about him a lot. Dude, this guy was like one of the most famous YouTubers before YouTube truly popped. Like Total Frat Move and all of his comedy shit, like Life According to Jimmy. It was just so interesting to watch. And it's so fun to watch. We look forward to watching Jimmy and his fucking little posse put out comedy videos. And like, I really feel like now Hollywood's finally giving him the respect that's way overdue. He was in like Grown Ups 2 and some stuff, but very light. I know he's in that movie like The Machine with fucking Burt Kreischer. But this like was good to see him. And like I've always thought like what an underused talent in Hollywood. But he's good. He is a phenomenal actor. Michelle Randolph, obviously, like goes without saying, she's great too. But having them in the intro of the movie was just cherry on top. Obviously, I said it, they kind of die first scene. You know, it's like any Scream movie. But once it gets into it, it was good. It was definitely more of like Sidney Prescott driven, which to be honest, like we watched Scream 7, then we went back and watched like number 4, and then we watched 3. No order particularly. But in 3, she is such like the main character. And it made sense in 7 to bring her back. Like, I don't think they fucked up trying to do the Jenna Ortega storyline with the sister, but I think they killed Dewey in 4 or maybe 5. And it's like, yeah, like if you start killing off like OG cast members, you don't want to Disney LucasArts this thing, like how they killed off like Han and Leia and then fucking Luke. It's like, well, what are we coming back for? Because I don't know these new characters the way I fucking knew the old ones, right? And I kind of felt that was like, it was like, I know why Nev Campbell wasn't in like the second one, the New York one, pay. She's just like, I'm not going to not get paid my rightful pay, right? For this one I read, for Scream 7, they gave her $1 million for every fucking number. She got $7 million. Super big payday for a horror movie, especially for a female actress, which I think she's well entitled to. But she was so good as the protagonist. It was just riveting. It's her story at the end of the day. Sidney Prescott is the protagonist of the Scream series. I'm glad that they have brought her back. It was like, really, she's only not in like one of the films, but her absence was felt in number fucking 6, which I thought was a great movie either way. There was one thing I thought was ridiculous about number 6, or not 6, but 7, was they brought back some characters from 6 and 5. Like, I think they were like either brother and sister, but like they're like the camera crew for Courtney Cox's character, Gil Weathers. And like, it was just interesting. I always thought they died in 6, but maybe I got to go back and rewatch it. Besides the point though, they did a good job at pivoting from like those previous storylines back to Sydney. Cause I know there's controversy too. I think one of them said some political shit and like, they're like, hey, you're out of here. And then Jenna left, and it's like, okay, like, well, when the whole House of Cards blows down, it's like, where else do you go? You go back to the original actor, right? And she fucking killed it. It was like a mother-daughter story, kind of Sydney confronting like being a mom with her past. And I will not ruin it because I know people are going to want to watch Scream. And like the thing I do like about the Scream movies too is I feel like you can watch it and you never really remember exactly how it happened. It's always like the writing makes you forget. It's almost like hypnotic. Like you're watching, you're like, I kind of remember. You know, but you don't really remember everything that happens. You remember scenes more so. And maybe if you're really like dialed in, you remember the killer at the end of all the other ones. The first one's a given, but the other ones, they definitely subvert expectations. They keep you fucking guessing. This one, I called it surprisingly, and I felt like I could have been wrong, But like when it did happen, I'm like, fuck yeah, like I saw it coming, little details that gave it away. But if I had to give the new Scream a fucking like numerical rating, I give it a 10 out of 10. Like, here's the deal too, is like I understand like horror movies can get played out and they can feel like, oh, it's the same shit rehashed, but it's like, isn't that the fucking point? Don't you want to see more of the same, but with a new twist and some like new parts of the blueprint changed? Because I do. There's something comforting about watching something similar and also seeing the same faces a lot of the time. And for a horror movie, I think it's harder to do that because people got to die in horror movies, right? Usually. And like there's the psychological element, but not in Scream. Scream's a fucking, slasher. They're fucking killing. So like people are dying and maybe main cast members are dying. I won't say anything about this one, but I don't know. There's something about that familiarity. This one also did a really good job at bringing back quite a few of the previous characters from the other movies that had already been deceased. They kind of did that in number 6. I think they brought Billy Loomis back. I think the girl's like his daughter or something, and she sees the mask and like thinks like it's calling her to like be Ghostface. And like, it's just, this one did it even more tastefully than that, where they didn't have to get the actor to come back and act like an older version of himself. It's just some of it wasn't even bad. It works in the moment. But like, if you're thinking about it now, I'm like, no, this one did it tastefully. The way it did it, it was just really well done. Jesus Christ. Maybe it's the weather. I don't know. I feel dried out right now, which is crazy because I've been drinking like a gallon of like Crystal Geyser a day, trying to stay hydrated as fuck. And maybe it's not working. Need to drink more. All right. So Scream 7, really fucking good. Loved it. We'll definitely watch it again. Also watch Scream 3. I won't go into the other ones, but Scream 3 was I've always loved it, but man, revisiting it now, it's so self-aware. It pokes fun at Hollywood, and it's funny, I think if Hollywood watched it, it's the same Hollywood, but I don't even know if it would recognize itself. Like, it feels like the town has changed a lot, better or worse. But that was like golden era of Hollywood. I think the movie came out in 2003, and I know Entourage came out in 2004, and I always refer to Entourage. It's like it was built on like that version of Hollywood around that time. But like Entourage like printed that time of like when that type of like movie, self-awareness of that movie, because 3 is all about the Hollywood system. It just reminded me so much of that, like the relevancy towards the show. Anyways, I digress. Scream 7, really good. The next movie I watched this week was Exit 8. It's a Japanese film, so I apologize if I get the director's names wrong, but or the writer Genki Kawamura, director of photography Kisuke Imamura. Cast is Kanzuari Ninomiya and Yamamoto Kochi. This is an adaptation of a viral video game, kind of a horror survival video game. I'm familiar with the game. Before I even knew about this movie, I knew the game through just YouTube and like TikTok, like fucking clips. I just don't really have a PC to game on. Like, I used to have Steam. I used to fucking play Half-Life and fucking Portal. I had Orange Box on my Xbox. I would play that. Team Fortress 2. I'd play fucking Counter-Strike 1.6. I'd play Source. I'm a gamer. I'm a nerd at the end of the day, right? But I never got around to playing Exit 8. And Exit 8, as a movie, plays fucking great. Like, the concept is interesting. I won't ruin it for anyone, but basically, like, a Japanese guy is riding the train, gets off, goes into this underground subway station, right? And it's just an infinite loop. He's stuck in Exit 8. Actually, he's not stuck in Exit 8. He's stuck in this exit terminal, whatever you want to call it, this liminal space. It's like a couple turns, maybe some walls, bathroom, shit. You can't even go in the bathroom. All the doors are locked. White tile, looks like a fucking, like it's almost like if you were trapped in like purgatory or something. You can't get out of this room. But there are rules written on the wall, and it's like, hey, like if you see an anomaly, go the other way, never ignore it. And the guy learns that when he sees something, to go the other way, and that'll change the number on the wall from exit 1 to exit 2 to exit 3 to exit 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And if you fuck up, it resets. So it's like, it must be what hell feels like, like you're just stuck in this loop and there's no way to get out, or purgatory, like I said. I don't know if the game even is a metaphor for religious stuff, but I'm using it as some way to contextualize this. You can't get out without seeing things and following a pattern and respecting the rules of this little world that this thing has made. It turns out to be a little bit of a father-son story, almost like this guy, like before he gets on, goes down, he's on the elevator or he's on the subway and he sees a man arguing with his wife, telling her to shut the baby up, right? and he gets off, and as he's getting off, he gets a call from his girlfriend saying she's pregnant. That's like kind of the storyline I think that the writer director put into Exit 8 as like the actual like through line. I don't know what the video game has. I imagine the video game is a little bit more agnostic to the story. Like there's no father son, soon to be father thoughts, right? And it's also his ex-girlfriend, so he's thinking like, oh my god, like I got my ex-girlfriend pregnant. Da, da, da. That was a great storyline. I won't ruin it. You should watch the movie to see how it plays out. But that is the visual and stuff used to like kind of motivate the character. Very interesting too. It was like Tarantino-esque with like chapters and stuff where it kind of says like there's they call him the lost man, the guy who initially goes. Then there's the other guy, I can't remember his name, businessman. They had another name for him. And then there's this kid that's there with him, is the boy. And these 3 chapters tell the story basically leading up to like him getting through this exit and trying to get to exit 8. I won't ruin it for you. I'm sure it's pretty self-evident what happens if you've seen a movie before. But wow, what a good film. I know this thing was at Cannes and did very well from what I understand. Picked up, maybe it wasn't at Cannes this year though. Maybe it was last year. I'd heard about the film. I want to say it was a Cannes film. Besides the point, movie was popular, did the festival run. We caught it on stream and it was on our list. Look, like we love Asian cinema, particularly like Korea and Japan. There's some great Chinese movies. I just haven't seen enough of them other than like Hong Kong movies, really. But for a Japanese film, and this is no critique of the Japanese, I usually think Koreans have some like better cinema and shows. That's just my honest opinion. For a Japanese film, very fucking good. Just a wonderful movie. Would I watch it again? Yes. Do I think this is a type of movie you just throw on casually? Not really. I feel like I told Stevie it reminded me of like Primer or something like that, where like this movie will be popular because of the high concept, but if you actually watch it, it's a great fucking movie. And it's something that'll like it'll stick around. It'll be something that people come back to. People love, especially with Backrooms coming out or being out. People love the liminal space. They love the idea of being stuck in this area where like it's not meant for a human to be stuck in. You know, it's like an airport. You're not really supposed to hang out in airports. It's a traveling space. It's a liminal space. It's meant for you to transition to the next destination, right? And I think that this movie will fall into that category of like mindfuck or mindbender movies. Science fiction, yes, but also mixed with like drama. It's kind of got everything going on. Once again, Asian films also happen to be very multi-genre, in my opinion. I think this one kind of blends quite a few things together. Exit 8, though, it will stick around. It'll be on a top 20 list of like these type of movies. It's not quite Shutter Island. It definitely has some psychological elements to it, but you know what I mean? Like one of those movies where you're like, that's like, I the one's coming to mind is Primer. There's gotta be other examples out there, but it's like the concept is so crazy. You have to see it. And then once you see it, it's programmed. You're like, okay, like someone references it, be like, oh, it's like an Exit 8 situation. It's like, yeah, dude, like I get it. It's going to be like that. And film nerds worldwide and fucking film buffs and people they're going to talk about this movie for a long time. It actually made me want to play the fucking game. Maybe I'll get it. Like I said, I don't have a PC, but maybe I can figure it out on my Mac. Anyways, I digress. Exit 8 was a 10 out of 10 for what it's worth. Definitely worth the time. I don't even remember where we streamed it. Maybe Prime. But yeah, go buy a copy. It was worth it. If you're looking for something of that style. Last thing I'll talk about is Spider-Noir. Look, I remember reading about Spider-Noir. I never read the comic or the graphic novel, whatever it was. But like I was just always intrigued. I love film noir. When I was younger and I first got into movies, I thought, aside from like shit that I'd watched, like when I first took a film class, film noir, like my teacher was so into it, I thought it was the most important cinema in the world. Like one of the first movies I watched in a film class was Double Indemnity. Like blew my mind, you know. I believe it's Billy Wilder. I could be wrong on that, but either way, Double Indemnity, fucking just like one of the quintessential film noir movies. Absolutely ridiculous, just perfectly made. All the little things, like, you know, the blinds with the light coming through, it all sounds so played out and cliche now. But at the time, in the golden era of Hollywood cinema, they were making this shit. They were the ones who were like, we're going to put a Cucaloris up and make the fucking light come through and make him look like he's in this setting. They created the look. They made the noir detective what it was. And actually, you know, I'll get back to Spider-Noir, but this is making me even like, because I've been like, I love Art Deco. I love the 1920s and 30s. Maybe that's why I was drawn to those films. Because even noir, like Double Indemnity's got to be late 30s, mid 40s. It's definitely not earlier than that. But I think it's just so cool that America has this time documented not only like historically, but in Hollywood cinema. Because like, dude, we're talking about like a generation that's just gone. Like those people at the time in their 50s and 40s, like they've been gone for a long time. But we still can go back and revisit. It's like a time machine. Like the movie takes you back to this period of time, and you can see how people dressed and what it was like. And people make fun of the transatlantic accent now, like the whole like, hey Tommy, like this thing's coming down through the mail, like whatever, like the accent. Some people tell me that they actually don't enjoy that accent at all. I think like what a print of time. It just it's just not something you'd hear now. The way people dress, the way people acted, their demeanor. Not saying people were better back then, but there was a sense of like sophistication going on in that period of time. And also America was so beautiful during that time, the way they were building. I heard Spencer Pratt say this the other day, but he said America was meant to be Art Deco. And I fucking agree. He even said if he's going to be mayor of LA, he's like, we're going to build Art Deco buildings. We're not going to just build generic box commercial shit. And like, I don't know how much pull he has on this, but he's saying it. I'm like, yeah, fucking checking all the boxes, my guy. America should have been Art Deco. Maybe the East Coast carried on and just didn't. It got like, Chicago is very Art Deco. There's Art Deco buildings even here in Salinas. Like, you wouldn't believe, like some of the most beautiful Art Deco shit is like a restaurant and apartments, but doesn't change the fact the building's beautiful. But America was meant to be Art Deco. And I think Art Deco is making a resurgence. I know even Seth Rogen, I've been watching this thing he did with Stern. Stevie turned me on to it. But I mean, I love Seth Rogen's work. I've talked about him very fondly on here, but even the show, The Studio, the Continental Studios, it's all done with Art Deco. It is a look that it looks classy and sophisticated and important. It looks timeless. It looks old, modern, futuristic, but also ancient. There's just something about it. I think it's like what the ultimate design people should have, or people should want. And especially here in America, it's ours. I feel like, maybe derivative, sure, of like European stuff, but like Art Deco was very American. And I wish, like, if you Google, there's a picture of like type in 1930s New York, and you'll see the skyline. And it's hauntingly futuristic. I couldn't imagine walking around New York City in 1930 and being like, this is just, America's finest city, or Chicago, during that time. It must have just been so, people probably did take it for granted at the time. Maybe not, but like, I think people certainly do now. Like, dude, we have some of the most beautiful buildings in the world right here in our backyard of America. Maybe not our backyard, but like, metaphorically speaking, like a backyard of America. And all built by American hands. It was funny too. I was reading about the Empire State Building, built in 410 days. In 1931, it was finished. So like between 29 and 30, 31, 410 fucking days, they built the Empire State Building. It's still around. One of the most popular buildings in the world. And at the time, I believe the tallest. I mean, dude, we need to get back to whatever that was. People fucking wanted to get shit done, cut the red tape. Let's build beautiful shit. Let's make America fucking look Art Deco again. I'd be fucking cool with that. I just love the Art Deco fucking look. And Spider-Man Noir, to get back to the point, heavily emphasizes the Art Deco world because it takes place in 1933 New York. Albeit it is a fucking fantasy, but it doesn't matter. Let's get down to business. My rant on how I want to fucking beautify America with Art Deco. Maybe not over. It'll continue through this. But we'll get back to Spidey, right? Filmmaking. Spider-Noir 2026. Developed by Oren Uziel, Steve Lightfoot. A lot of different directors of photography. Don't have them all here. But one of our favorites, Nicolas Cage, is Spider-Man Noir. I just call him Spider-Man. His name's Ben Reilly in the show. He's a private eye. Extremely fucking great character. We got Brendan Gleeson as Silvermane. He's the local mobster. Lamorne Morris. I don't remember his character's name in the show, but he's like the kind of the Bugle journalist. He's a journalist in the show. He works for the Daily Bugle, but kind of. And everything's a little different than it is in the regular Spider-Man universe. And then there's a bunch of other actors and actresses in it. I can't remember their names, but that's the core. Wow. Nicolas Cage is a fucking interesting actor. He has highs and lows, ebbs and flows. This is one of his best roles. Him as a 1930s private eye who was formerly Spider-Man during the Great Depression, right around the time Prohibition's about to come to an end, is something about him just fits right into this world. Like, yeah, he's assimilated to the 1930s. It's crazy. Is it a Spider-Man show? Yes and no. it takes a while for us to see a little bit of him as Spider-Man. Like, yeah, sure, there's been 2 episodes where he is a spider, but he's, like, retired. He's been out of it for 5 years, his ex-lover died. I won't ruin the plot and every beat, but, like, he's just been doing the private eye work, right? He's a little bit of a drunk, not a total alcoholic, but he'll have a drink, he won't say no, as he says, and it's just, very interesting. It's very interesting to see him be not even Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, Private Eye as Spider-Man Noir or Spider-Man. They call him the Spider, really. His outfit's different. He's got these huge spider eyes that you'd be familiar with and this black mask and these eyes like they glow. And it's just very like, he's like an analog Spider-Man. He still has powers. And even the way he gets his powers, I'm only like 4 episodes in. But in the 4th episode, they start showcasing like how he became Spider-Man. I'm like, wow, like what a twist on the original like version of this. And like, look, cover your ears if you don't want to hear it, but I feel like it's worth talking about because I don't know if I'm coming back to Spider-Noir. Maybe I will, but I will come back to talk about it. But listen, look, no spoilers, but if you don't want a spoiler, pause it, but this isn't even that big of one. Ben Reilly's character was in World War One. And while he was there, he saw like, some like early Nazi experimentations from what it looked like, right? And he goes in to save these soldiers and they're all being like, manipulated with like snakes and reptiles. And then he finds one guy who's got a spider in like a jar and they're pumping like DNA into him, whatever. And when he uncovers the sheets, the guy's like half man, half spider. And he is the one who actually bites Ben Reilly and gets him infected. And then from that day on, he's become like a mutant to some extent. Now, in this film noir, a lot of the people he's chasing around, or not film noir, in Spider Noir, the antagonists in New York City at the time are these freaks or mutants with power, and all of them had the same thing. They were POWs of the Germans during the war. So obviously, I think the through line of that is that the Germans were experimenting on these American POWs, these soldiers particularly, to try and make them into super soldiers or whatever. They're experimenting. And Ben Reilly becomes collateral damage of that while trying to save soldiers. He becomes the Spider himself, which is a great fucking setup. Like, it totally makes sense. It's also like, they're able to weave it into history while making it its own original idea. I digress. Really love the Spider, not the Spider, Spider Noir. Going to continue watching. It plays heavily, like I said, on Art Deco, beautiful sets. Also, the dialogue is just so film noir. It's so snappy in 1930s, 40s. Everyone's very smart and everyone's suave and they always say the right fucking thing. And the subtext isn't that subtle. It's subtle, but like, what they're going for. Also, like, crime is like a huge element of film noir, and it's like it's front and center. You know, it's also cool to see like we've all seen Peter Parker. We all know like the good old boy Peter Parker version of Spider-Man, even like the young early 30s Spider-Man, like in Spidey 3 with Sam Raimi's versions and Tobey Maguire. You get to see Spider-Man if he was becoming more of an adult than just like the boy wonder, and how his relationships are affected and stuff like that. In this one, it's cool to see like a man who has already had troubles. It's almost as if it's like the Dark Knight of the Spider-Man universe, if you want to call it that. Because like in like the Dark Knight Returns, Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man, Batman, Bruce Wayne is like 50 or 60 years old. He's like a washed up Batman. He's gone away. Kind of like in the third Christopher Nolan movie in the trilogy, Dark Knight Rises. Batman has gone away, and that's kind of how it feels in this. He makes a return, but he's not the man he used to be. And they even kind of make a joke, because Cage has got to be like 50 or 60 now, definitely in his 50s. There's people watching him fight when he has his first comeback fight in the streets, and people are like, maybe he should have stayed retired. They're all speaking all old school. But I get it. It's kind of the trope of like an aging superhero. I've never seen Spider-Man in that capacity, so it's actually really cool to see that. Also, like I said, it kind of it checks a lot of the boxes for me. Noir, timepiece, fucking Nick Cage, and also like the Art Deco element. Like, it's eye candy. What a time. The 1930s, what a time. This also sparked, this is more of an aside, sparked a bit of a history dive for me on like Prohibition. Like, Prohibition, I think it was from 1920 to 1933. So like a 13-year period of like no alcohol in America. I was like talking to chat. I'm like, dude, was this considered a fucking failure in like American policy? Like, yeah, like Prohibition didn't work. It actually was bad. It drove up crime in America because it basically birthed organized crime. I'm not saying organized crime didn't exist before, but they're like, this made it like a fucking real business for people to run speakeasies and move alcohol. I don't need to give you a history lesson, Al Capone, all that shit. A lot of gangsters rose up, but it's like, the repercussions of what they did, I think, like, low key, like, they probably helped birth, like, the real mob in America through this amendment. I think it was the 18th Amendment. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was repealed. But it's like, it's crazy that in the 1920s, like, we need to add another amendment just for alcohol. And like, what a backfire. Uh, it's just what a strange time in America. I can't believe even in the 1920s and 30s, they were debating things like the legal sale of liquor being like acceptable or not in the United States. Did it stop like people from drinking? They said, yeah, it dramatically curbed people from drinking because of the fear of getting caught. But like, it didn't solve the problem. People are going to drink anyways, and some people are going to drink even more because of it. And that, I think, won't be a huge part of the show, given the fact that like they already kind of teased the idea that prohibition, like the mayor's like, oh, I'm going to end prohibition. And it's like, well, it's supposed to be 33. Like, are you? Aren't you? You know, we'll find out. But it's just a strange time in America and a very cool time to look into. Also, one last thing about this, I started going on YouTube and looking up like 1930s, like actual video of New York City during the time. It's just like, I can't believe someone was there filming, just walking around Central Park, driving on a car, filming just people living their life. It's just crazy, you know? People have come a long way, and we're not quite at 100 years yet, but like, you know, we're in 2026, we're almost to 100 years since like the 1930s, and it's just like fucking mind-blowing. Man, it's crazy. Crazy. Anyways, been working on fucking shorts, editing, writing. I'm about to start writing, I should say, but like I'm almost there. And just getting back in the flow of like creating, and it's been really good. The move kind of sucks, but I think we're almost to the end. So, you know, almost fucking there. And once we're in a new place, like I'll have my studio set up. I'll be able to just like get back to work fucking full force. It's been a long haul this last I wouldn't even say couple months. I guess couple months, you know, prepping the house, deciding to actually sell, do everything. It's been a lot, but we're almost there. Light at the end of the tunnel, you know. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's about all I got. Before I go, look, I'll do one more thing. I'll read one more of these. The Filmmaker Mindset is my book. It's out on Amazon. It's also on Gumroad. If you want to buy it, great. But if not, I'm putting these out on my Instagram at Devin Thomas Film. Anyways, I, you know, have gotten also really good response on this. I saw one of my buddies, Stu, at the grocery store the other day, and he's been kind of doing some similar, like stoic, philosophical mixed with like fitness. And that's more of his brand. But like he even said, you know, I love what you post. I'm like, I love what you post. And it's like, yeah, like there's something about knowing other people have these thoughts in their mind that is so important. I think it's mutually beneficial to put this out, not just for like me, but for you and whoever's out there listening or viewing. It's like these are truths that are like, I would almost consider them self-evident, but like just hearing them or reading them and just reiterating them or just like having them in your fucking mind, quite literally mindset, is so important because it's positive food for your brain. Like these thoughts are positive that are generated from this book. I opened it up right away and saw one I liked. The right people will find my work if I keep on putting it out. I mean, yeah. If I keep on fucking releasing shit and keep on putting stuff out, the world will see it. And hopefully somebody who wants to help or is in the right position or wants to work with me will reach out. And I got to promote it as well. But, you know, I think that's the thing is like, if you keep creating, you'll be seen. You can't be seen if you don't do anything. And that's the thing that I tell anyone is like, just fucking roll the dice, start putting shit out, stop waiting, go out there, start making shit, and then you'll be able to be seen. I did not think Encounter would have the reaction it had. I wasn't anticipating it not to, but like people were, it provoked something in people. It hit on some note. Maybe it's the alien thing. Maybe it's just existentialism. But you know, the people that I want to see it, I hope will see it. And the people that are seeing it right now are part of that, you know? I guess the point of that quote really is like, if you want to be seen and you want people to know what you want to do, put stuff out. One of the things I learned doing music at a young age, especially wanting to be seen as a musician, is like, well, I'll play you my song that you hear it. They're like, fuck that. I want to hear your song. Just show me this recording. Well, you can't show them a recording if you never go to a studio or learn how to record yourself. You have to have something to show people. It has to be tangible. Seeing is believing, right? Well, people can't see what you're capable of if you never fucking produce. You never put anything out. I'm not saying that. I'm not beating people up like you can't do it. You haven't made something. But it's like if you're really serious and you really want people to take you serious, go out and make shit. And hopefully the people you want to get the attention of will see that too. They say real recognizes real, right? I don't necessarily think that's all. I get the quote, but what I'm trying to say is that people that believe or see the potential in something and will believe in you, they're going to believe it when they see it. And it's just a matter of going out, making stuff. I don't care if you're making fucking content on Instagram or TikTok. If you're trying to fucking record a song, make a movie, you want to be the best baker. Well, you can tell me how good your chocolate chip cookies are going to taste, but if you fucking bring me a cookie and let me eat it, I'll tell you right then and there. I'll give you fucking instant feedback, right? We're living in a very fast world these days. The world moves fast. Every week feels like a fucking, it's a flash in the pan. It's funny. I watch a lot of those Nick Shirley videos. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck what you think. I'm watching them. Nick Shirley has been making content for like 2.5 years straight. If he stacked up 6 months worth of shit and only released it in a drip, people are going to not care about what happened 6 months ago really quick. Granted, his shit's a little bit more like flavor of the week, but it's besides the point. Putting stuff out, letting people see what you got, that is what it's all about. And also being diligent and consistent. If he didn't make any videos, he wouldn't be doing any journalism. He wouldn't have any attention. He wouldn't be anywhere. He'd just be thinking like, maybe one day I'll go out and do like an expose. You can't do that. You need to go out all the time, make content, show people that you're capable, keep the ball rolling. And that goes for anything in life. Like I said, baker, journalist, filmmaker, painter. If you want to be a painter, start painting, and maybe the right person will see your painting. I could beat this horse to death and I won't. Anyways, I think it's a good place to end it. I don't know how long I've been in here. It feels like a long fucking time. This might be a long one. Maybe it's a short one. I don't really know. Anyways, guys, it's been a great week. Things are looking up. Forward momentum with the filmmaking. About to start writing. Really love this alien shit right now. Slugger's still top contender. I'm actually submitting some of the stuff to an agent this week. Stevie and I have been talking about doing that. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Anyways, that's it. I think that's the podcast. My name's Devin Thomas. This has been another episode of Unscripted. I'll talk to you all next week.